When we unconsciously identify with my thoughts, my feelings, my memories, my hopes, my fears, my body, my life, this squeezing of the self into a kind of box, a kind of, separate, boundaried entity becomes the kind of default position. If we're on a spiritual path, then we seek to be free of this because it is sensed and experienced as some kind of prison, and there's a deep knowing or longing for the freedom of the boundless, the freedom of the unbounded dimension. Yeah? This is the imminent, and then the transcendent, the condensed and the unbounded. So we long for that and yearn for that. And very often this search has within it a kind of, there's something beyond me, there's something out there that I can reach if only, I do the right thing, the right meditation, the right practice, or until I'm ready. With that comes the idea that me and my life are somehow separate from this and yearning to merge with it. This idea that me and my life and this higher consciousness, or let's call it God, is outside of me. But what we're inviting here is the possibility and the exploration that this that I call me, this that I call my life, is actually not separate from God. That me and my life are a focal point for God. What does that mean? It means that there is nothing separate from Godness. Everything, the totality of existence is not made up of lots of separate things, even though lots of separate things appear in that totality. That's where the transcendent and the imminent are one. The transcendent is not divided into many parts. It never has been and never will be. And yet, the myriad of manifestations appear in that and from that and as that. Every manifestation is not separate from the totality. There's not some kind of divide in between. Where are there are things, forms, manifestations, forms of life and so on, animate or inanimate, and then this other thing, the absolute, the transcendent, the God, that is separate from that. They are one and the same. The things that appear, including me, including you, each one of us, and everything, are simply focal points for that one. In other words, the one beingness, when I say beingness, I don't mean it's a being as such. It's simply the essential beingness, the essential isness, out of which existence forms itself. That one, that totality, cannot know itself, cannot recognize itself without a focal point. It's through the focal point that it can come to recognize itself. And when I say focal point, let's just look at human life. Yeah? In fact, all life, but we're speaking about humanity right now, us as individuations. It's through the focal point of the sensory organism, an organism with senses, with a nervous system, with a physiology that allows perception to take place and allows cognition to take place, that beingness, which has no form, can come to know itself. In this sense, everything that we experience, called my experience, my life, is an invitation to that knowing. This is how, if you like, this is just how it is. This is how existence is. Yeah. Without this, there is no existence. This is the play of form and formless. In that sense, we are not separate. Yeah? There's a law of thermodynamics that says nothing can be added or nothing can be created or destroyed. I think it's the second law of thermodynamics. Nothing can be created or destroyed. In other words, the totality of existence is always the totality. It's neither added to nor taken away from. Every manifestation is not an addition to existence, but another representation of the totality, another focal point that allows the possibility of the knowing of Godness, which is the knowing of light, knowing of ourselves as light. Light is just another way of saying not separation. Separation creates a veil, a darkness, an endarkment. Yeah, it pulls the veil over our eyes. When the veil is pulled over our eyes, we see through the eyes of fear, through the eyes of separation, the eyes of fear. If I am a separate entity, there is fear because there is external threat. There is the fear of loss of this entity, which is impermanent. Everything is impermanent. There is fear of others. There is fear of the world. There is fear of many things. So the veil is pulled over. When there is fear and we see through the eyes of fear, our heart is closed. And we come more and more into the prison of self. And we are building up defense structures, psychological, emotional, mental defense structures to prevent us from being hurt, to prevent from losing what I think I have as myself and my life, yeah, or to try and get something, yeah. Fear leads to greed, fear leads to corruption, fear leads to smallness, fear leads to victimhood. Fear leads to the many identities of the ego self. The undoing of those many layers is the allowing of light. That light simply means we see clearly. We see through naked eyes, not veiled eyes. Veiled eyes have position taking, identity, for and against, belief, opinion, narrative, story, and so on and so on. Yeah. Nakedly, to see nakedly means not only do we see from the unbounded mind, but we see from the unbounded heart. This means there is nothing that we need to put up a wall against. There is no armoring required against what is the experience of what is, as it appears, as it is experienced through the focal point of view. This is the knowing of Godness, the knowing of goodness. So everything that we experience is a doorway to that knowing. There is nothing separate from it.